Welcome back to the Story Lab. Let us start this season with a special project. We have talked about different books that have already been adapted into movies and TV shows, and others that might be adapted in the future. Though for the most part we have focused on larger franchises. Today we want to talk about 3 books that have not been adapted yet, but absolutely deserve adaptations as movies. Let's get right to it and present the 3 books that our lab has chosen. Number 1 is an obvious choice, The Lost Symbol from the author Dan Brown. This is another book in the Robert Langdon series, of which 3 have already been adapted into movies. The Lost Symbol, however, has not been among them, even though it would have been the 3rd book of the Langdon series. Here is the plot. Robert Langdon is called by an old friend of his to come to Washington, D.C. to give a presentation. However, when he arrives, he does not find his friend, only his hand, freshly cut off and decorated with tattoos of ancient symbols. The man behind the hideous act has called Langdon there for a reason. He orders him to hunt down a mysterious secret that the Mason Society has been hiding since the construction of the city, because the madman believes it would lead him to salvation. Only if Langdon complies will he see his friend again. Following the trail of symbols through the city, Langdon slowly decodes the mysterious Mason pyramid and comes ever closer to solve the mystery and thus save his friend, only to find by the end that the madman was his friend's son and believed he had to be killed by his own father to be absolved. And only by figuring out the symbols fast enough, he and his newest female companion manage to alert the special forces and save the day. Why would this book be perfect for a movie adaptation? Robert Langdon movies are already established. The scenery of the US Capitol would be impressive. The themes of the secret society, the mysterious encoded artifact, and the idea of weighing the human soul fit well with the themes of the previously adapted books while still being its own story. The story is a prequel of sorts to the newest Robert Langdon book. The moment where, for a moment, the viewer thinks Langdon would die, would carry more suspense if the movie is produced now, out of order, and it is unknown to the viewer if Langdon could really die. It could be a very exciting adaptation. This was our first choice. Second, we present Cloud World by David Cunningham, a thrilling science fiction novel. Here is a summary of the plot. As far as the people of the city in this science fiction world know, the whole world only exists above the clouds. Their entire society lives on islands, really huge mountain tops, that penetrate through the clouds. Located on these mountains, the cities of the society are organized in many layers. Each layer further up was more prestigious. At the top live the ruler and the prince. Traveling between the islands is possible through airships that hang on giant balloons and travel above the clouds. On day, while traveling with such an airship, the prince and his companions are attacked and shut down. The airships and their crew fall through the cloud layer. However, they do not fall out of the universe as they had thought, but crash to the ground and find that there is an entire world beneath the cloud layer, including people living there. They make their way back to the mountain, on top of which their city was located, and realize that the caste system, that was based on how close one is to the supposedly death-bringing cloud layer, was fundamentally false. And thus, they plan to start a revolution. There are multiple reasons why this would work great as a movie. The concept of the world is unique and very interesting. The 2 worlds above and below the clouds would be visually very distinct, and the contrast would work very well on screen. The story is very good and there is a lot of sequel potential, including another adaptation of the actual sequel book. Lastly, we present Quest by Andreas Eschenbach. This is a German science fiction novel with a playful title. The word quest refers both to the captain, who is called Quest, and his literal quest that he goes on. This is the plot. The captain, who is called Quest, breaks into the biggest library complex in the galaxy, a building so large that it fills an entire plane, to extract some information about a long-lost planet belonging to a long-lost civilization. His goal, to find the planet where all life originated and where he hopes to find a cure for his horrible disease. Quest's trail leads them to the long-lost ancient civilization and from them on to the home of yet another even older civilization in another galaxy. The story follows Bylan, who used to be an acolyte in the library and now has joined the crew. And it follows Smeeth, a mysterious man, that the crew picks up on the way and who seems to truly immortal. At least he knows things from times even older than the most ancient scriptures in the Great Library. Finally, they do find the ancient world and a trail to the planet where all life originated, or so they thought. And while the captain thinks he accomplished the impossible and dies, Bylan and Smeeth travel on, searching the universe for further wonders. Why would this book be perfect for a movie adaptation? The story is peak science fiction, including spaceships, ancient civilizations, an alien social structure, immortal beings, and strange worlds. Several locations, beginning with the huge library, would be wonderful to bring to the screen. The story can be both shortened and expanded upon without losing its core elements. The background of an interstellar war going on, that could or would lead to a complete takeover of the galaxy, would make for a thrilling thought. It is a space epos that could join Star Wars and Dune in being a fan favorite among fans of both adventure and science fiction genres. And that is all we have for you today. What story would you want to see adapted? Please note that everything presented here is simply the results of an experiment. No part of this presentation is intended as a correction of an existing story or claims to be the real story. The selection or omission of any parts of the source material is not to be understood as commentary, positive or negative, on the original productions. These are simply thoughts and experiments based on existing material, and none of it could be created without the work of all those involved in creating the original works. As with any scientific result, you may utilize any of the story ideas that resulted from these experiments for your own experiments or production, while citing this experiment as its source. It is now closing time for our lab. Goodbye until next time.